Hello and welcome to my channel, The Enthusiast Garage. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to bleed your brakes in any BMW F80 platform. So M4, M3, and really any BMW will have the same process. So I'm gonna be using this Schwaben power bleeder. I'm gonna be using .4 Liqui Moly brake fluid. It's pretty simple process if you have the right tools. If you don't have right tools, this process can be a nightmare, so I really recommend buying a power bleeder to do this process. Tools, you only need an 11mm wrench to open the bleeder valve and a 10mm socket to remove the cover for the brake reservoir. So let's get to it. All right, so first step is to remove this cover to access the brake fluid reservoir. There's three 10mm plastic nuts that you just have to turn 90-degree turns. And then you'll be able to pop it out and slide it out. And this is your brake fluid reservoir right here. So in this car, I'm gonna be using .4. Remember, if it's a .3 car, you can always use .3 and .4. If it's .4, only use .4. .4 have a higher boiling point than .3, so you don't want to use .3 in a car like this, then you do some hard braking and it starts boiling and ruin something in your car. I'm gonna be using the Schwaben brake bleeder. This process can be the same with any kind of brake bleeder, even if you have the Motive brand one. I have both. I prefer the Schwaben for BMWs. It's just, I like their build quality more, honestly. But it comes with a cap. The Schwaben one, the default cap is the BMW cap. You just put it on the reservoir, make sure it's tight. Then you click it in, connect the hose. Then over here, pump it till you get the maximum amount of pressure, which is usually around 15 psi. And you can see the fluid going in. I'm gonna stop at around 18 psi. So I stopped around 18 psi. I don't recommend going above 20. That's why it's in red line. The system is not made to handle pressure more than 20 psi. The recommendation is 15. I went a little bit over 15. Now, and of course, you shouldn't be losing pressure. The system should be pressurized at this point. If you're losing pressure, then you have a leak in your brake fluid, and that's a whole different issue. So right now, we just leave it aside, and then we're gonna start bleeding the brakes. All right, so I'm gonna start with the furthest spot from the brake cylinder, which is the rear passenger side wheel. First, you start by removing the plastic cover. I'm just gonna use a plier. You can move this brake sensor aside, and this is the bleeding valve. On the rear side, the bleeding valve's on the back side, so you don't really need to remove your wheel. Even if you don't have a lift, you can just jack up this side and go around it to reach it. Then I'm gonna slide the wrench on and keep it positioned in a way where I can turn it to loosen it up. And I have the bottle to collect the old fluid hanging here. I'm just gonna connect it on the nipple, the valve. And then now I'm gonna loosen it up and watch the fluid go down. Okay, I can see the fluid slowly going down. And it's a pretty clean fluid, honestly. The only reason I'm doing it because the system inside is saying that brake fluid is due, but obviously it's not burned at all. It's pretty clean. Look how green it is. I'm just gonna bleed it a little bit. I'm not gonna do it that much. Usually the furthest one away is the dirtiest one out of all of them. So if this is pretty clean, I'm assuming everything else is clean. I'm just gonna bleed it a little bit more until I get some fluid here. All right, and I think that's enough. I'm gonna disconnect it. Make sure the valve is tight all the way. And then we connect the cover back. And we're done with this side. We're gonna move to the other side. It's the same process for the driver rear side wheel. All right, so I just bled the other side on the rear wheel. It's the same process as the passenger side. I did the driver side. Now we're gonna move to the front. Before you move to the front, always double check your brake booster and make sure you still have pressure on it. So I just took a look at it. It's still showing around 18 psi, so we're still good to go. You don't want it to go low pressure, and then you open the valve here because it's gonna suck in air, and that will defeat the whole purpose of bleeding your brakes. So now we're gonna move to the front. The front on the M3 and M4, those calipers, they have two bleeding valves, one on the outside and one on the inside. And the BMW recommendation is to always bleed the outside one first, and then you bleed the inside. So I'm gonna start with the outside one. And as you guys can see, this whole process can be done with the wheels on. You don't need to remove wheels. Of course you can to make it a bit easier, but obviously, as you guys can see, I'm doing it without removing the wheels. Right, and now we see the fluid coming down. And so far, all the fluid been very clear. You can hear the brake fluid going in the bottle. I'm just gonna keep it open for like 30 seconds to a minute, and then close it and move to the other side. All right, now I'm gonna bleed the inside valve of the caliper. All right, this is the inside valve of the front brake caliper. Same thing, we're gonna remove the rubber nipple cover. I'm gonna slide the wrench on, attach the bottle to catch the fluid. All right, and that's it for the front right one. Now I'm gonna move to the front driver's side, and that will be the last wheel. So I'm gonna get to it. Right now we're done bleeding all four sides, and as you guys can see, it's almost down to 15 psi, so it doesn't really take much psi. I never had it where I was bleeding the 3 tires, then I went to the 4th one and it was out of pressure. There's always plenty of pressure left. So now what you need to do is to release the pressure from the power booster by pressing this. Now you can see the PSI going down. Okay, now you can disconnect this. There we go. And what I like about the Schwaben, it's not gonna leak from that fitting. Once you remove all the pressure, it's not gonna drip at all. So now you remove the cap. Now I'm gonna check the level of fluid that's in it. I am gonna fill it up a little bit to get it close to the max line. Okay, now you put everything back in reverse order. Put this cover back. And now for the final part of the video is resetting your service indicator. You're gonna click the start button one time, then you're gonna hold down this bottom left button. Keep holding on to it until you see the service. Brake fluid, let go and then hold again. Reset possible, reset, let go and then hold again. Now you let go, it's resetting in progress. Reset successful. And now if you go to the vehicle info and then service status, service required, you're gonna be good to go till next year. So that's it. All right, so that's it for this video. I just wanted to show you guys the old fluid. That's how much I extracted from the brake. And actually it was darker on the front than the back, surprisingly. I guess it gets, well, yeah, it makes sense. It gets warmer, hotter on the front, so it burns more. So it's definitely worth doing the service. In the beginning, I was like, it's not worth it. The oil is not dark, but as you guys can see, it's pretty dark. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, comment on the video, and see you on the next one. Bye.